This is KGW News at 11.
I don't understand that when it's a fairly simple and clear as day argument we've got to improve things, because clearly what the country has been doing and the states have been doing isn't enough.
Thousands of people from around the country rallied today to demand more action on gun violence. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Falkers. In the U.S., we've seen more than 250 mass shootings so far this year. Tragic data that comes from the Gun Violence Archive. And this is a pattern many across the country are fighting against. Today, hundreds of cities held March for Our Lives protests, calling for meaningful change and gun reform. Alma McCarty spent the day with demonstrators here in Portland.
Many people were compelled to come out on Saturday to say something, feeling angry, frustrated, completely heartbroken over one mass shooting after another. Those I spoke with say despite those feelings, they're not giving up. They say they're committed to making a change.
Protect our schools! Protect our kids! Protect our schools! Protect our kids!
Protesters of all ages marched through the streets of Portland as part of a nationwide movement. These rallies, organized by March for Our Lives, a youth-driven group first created by students who survived the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
I immediately wanted to join and try and lead the Portland chapter.
Athena Sue Chen said the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, especially struck a chord.
It was kids who are younger than my little brother getting shot and killed. An 18-year-old should not be able to get an assault rifle and mow down a whole bunch of little kids who are just there to learn.
Some in the crowd, like Paul Kemp,
This is my brother-in-law, Steve, who was killed at the mall.
have spent years working towards meaningful action against gun violence.
I got involved in the gun violence prevention movement when my brother-in-law was killed at the Clackamas Town Center shooting in 2012. I'm a gun owner, and the things that I learned about that shooting really got me angry.
Between then and now, he said several reforms have happened on a state level, but there's much more work to be done.
Really need movement and action at the federal level. That's where I've been focusing. We've got to improve things, because clearly what the country has been doing and the states have been doing isn't enough.
Enough is enough!
Demonstrators and organizers called for raising the minimum age to purchase assault weapons, for universal background checks, and for a national gun buyback program.
We have to stand up because thoughts and prayers don't change policies. We just cannot let all of these shootings become the status quo.
In Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
We want to get you caught up now on a developing story out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where police have arrested more than 24 people accused of planning to start riots during a Pride festival. Police believe those arrested have ties to a white nationalist hate group. A witness called police after they saw the group load into a U-Haul. 31 people were arrested and charged with conspiracy to riot. Police say the group had shields, shin guards, and at least one smoke grenade. They say the men are from all over the country, including some from Oregon and Washington. Evidence from that U-Haul led police to believe the group was planning to riot in several areas of downtown Coeur d'Alene. The arrest happened not far from a local Pride event. And while that event remained peaceful, organizers say other armed groups were there to intimidate people, and they weren't going to let that happen.
We have been through so much, so much harassment and attempts to intimidate, on the psychological level. And the truth is that if you allow yourself to be intimidated, you let them win. And what we have shown today is that you will not win.
A lot of police officers and sheriffs were at the park to deter any violence. A lot of people attending today say they were thankful for all those security measures in place. Now, the 31 people arrested were booked into jail, and they're expected to be in court on Monday. Back here closer to home, a suspicious fire in Gresham has investigators searching for answers. It happened at a controversial type of center that offers resources for women facing unplanned pregnancies. The fire happened yesterday morning at Portland Pregnancy Resource Center in Gresham around 2:30. Crews were able to quickly put out the fire. We're told it only burned in one room, but firefighters say it is suspicious. It's now under investigation by the ATF, FBI, and Gresham Fire. These types of organizations have faced criticism in the past, like articles published in the Journal of Ethics. Some of these operations give the impression they offer legitimate medical services and advice. However, sometimes they're exempt from regulatory credentialing oversight that applies to healthcare facilities. In reality, their mission is to prevent abortions by persuading women that adoption or parenting is a better option. An update now after an anonymous threat put multiple schools into lockdown in Milwaukee. That threat ended up to be false, and now a student is facing charges for their alleged role in the hoax. Police now say that anonymous threat was the result of a swatting call. That's a prank that sends police to a specific location under the belief that there is a threat. The call prompted police to lock down multiple schools and go through the high school to check for a threat. When they discovered no one was in immediate danger, they lifted the lockdowns, but did keep an increased presence at the high school. Investigators say a 17-year-old encouraged a friend outside of the U.S. to make that swatting call. That student is facing charges of disorderly conduct and menacing. A father and his two daughters are recovering tonight after being pulled from the river. Firefighters with Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue saved the family when their boat started sinking near Ridgefield. Crews were called to the Lewis River just after 1 this afternoon. The family of 3 hit a collection of trees in the water, causing their boat to capsize. When the crews arrived, they found an adult and their 8-year-old daughter on the riverbanks. The man's 12-year-old daughter floated downstream and was later found by others responding to the scene. Both children were wearing life jackets, and Clark Cowlitz firefighters say wearing that personal flotation device should always be part of a safe boating outing. Rising river levels are closing down parts of the East Bank Esplanade in Portland. Portland Parks and Recreation announced they'll temporarily close the Vera Katz East Bank Esplanade for safety starting Sunday. The area impacted is the floating portion of the popular multi-use path from north of the Morrison Bridge to south of the Steel Bridge. There's no set date to reopen it just yet, but officials say depending on water levels, it could stay closed until at least Wednesday this week.